Clash of Kings UK Round 5. Dwarves again!
Hello there! I like to watch battle reports to get better at games. So I started making short, summarized battle reports that focus on learning points. So welcome to my channel, Newbie Dice. Do like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you enjoy my videos. Do consider speeding up this video with the YouTube settings to consume this content or other YouTube content in a fraction of the time.
Okay, so this is my third game against Dwarves. My first game was against a variant, 3 Dwarves. Second game was against Dwarves, which was a loss. And this round 5 is against Dwarves again. So 3 out of 6 games against some form of Dwarves. So let's see. This is my pilgrimage to Clash of Kings UK. 14 hours flight plus a few hours of train travel. Almost 24 hours to get to Nottingham. If you'd like to check out my journey, you can check out my first battle report video where I go through in detail getting ready and getting to Nottingham. And yes, 3 of us from Singapore competed in Clash of Kings UK, making that long trip down. And so I brought my Persian Abyssals. Once again, if you're interested to know more about the army in detail, you can get it from my first video. So this is my list. I've been through it a couple of times, so it's a fast list with Berserkers, 3 Hordes and 1 Regiment, as well as 1 Horseman, and then supported by Flame Bearers, Zazuzu, and Manifestation of Baal. So that's the core of the list, shooting and speed. So I've been combating a lot of Western Europeans, so I've fought against, oh my goodness, France, and Italy, and now Spain. So Dwarves again, 2 regiments of Iron Watch Brock Riders. I really hate them because they really can do a number against Berserkers with their high number of attacks, and Vicious, Thunderous, and of course for the Imperial variants, they have Vengeance. So yeah, 2 organ guns, so very shooty list, which my list doesn't want to see. My only mitigation is that 1 round sacrificial imp, right? Golok's Fury, of course, he has healing elements as well, which is wonderful. So we always thought that, Celestial Restoration has the indirect rule, means you cannot cast at anything within 12 inches. So you think that, I have to stay far away from what I'm gonna heal. So I would waste the Radiance of Life and waste the Inspiring. But no, that's not true in this case. I'll show you how my opponent plays it later. Okay, Faber, of course. Formation, of course. Does have the Scrying Gem to make me deploy more units. And what else? Dwarf on Large Beast. No Bane Chan though. Okay, 12 scoring units because there's a Standard Bearer and a Priest that doesn't score. So before we move on, let me just quickly shout out to my local game store. In my opinion, the best game store in Singapore. They are beginner friendly with demo games, paint workshops, and overall a very casual gaming environment. They have the widest range of games and hobby supplies, including very obscure hobby brands and tools. They have separate levels for retail and gaming, so you can shop in peace or take part in the rowdy, fun atmosphere on the gaming level. Their website is always updated with new products added weekly. hammerhouse.com.sg. Check it out. Right, and that's my opponent, Mario. And so the scenario is stockpile, so you can see 3 piles over here. I can't remember who won the sides, but I remember I lost the initiative and he opted to go first, which was a little bit surprising for me. But nonetheless, these are the labeling of all the units if you'd like to pause and take a look. Of course, the Ironclad is down the center, some stuff on the left and right. Yeah, I would say like evenly split though. There's the support of Golok's Fury over here, the shooting over here, so I try to keep not in the open, right? So I have a fast flank coming down here, but there's this hill that I need to cross over. So let's get into it. So opponent started first, okay, shuffling everything up. Shooting is not very effective because organ guns don't get to shoot top of 1. The Iron Watch rifles, they move, then they don't have steady aim, so they are hitting on 6s. Right, so I think not a lot of damage, which was why I thought it was a bit surprising that he chose to go first. But maybe if I go first, I would have enveloped him as well. So I don't know. Yep. So I don't know about that choice. So now let's look at my fast flank. So my berserkers went onto the hill to threaten the things over here so they could see. I think I was trying to keep also less than 50% on the hill so that I get cover for being on the behind the hill. Okay, so if you shoot at me, my frontage, okay, more than 50% is clipping the hill, and I'm not considered on the hill because I have less than 50% of my volume on the hill. So that would mean a cover penalty. And I think I did keep out of Faber. I think charges up to 13, 10 plus D3. I think I did keep out of 13. I'm not sure if I could because I want to get that cover from the hill. Bale is balanced on top of the hill over here. Yep, and on top of that, I did pop my sacrificial imp because of what happened in my round 1. I did not want it to my round 2 against the Imperial Dwarves, where I just held back the sacrificial imp and I lost the unit, so I didn't want to take that chance again. I think I popped all my sacrificial imp. I think I popped this as well, and those at the side. Okay, Seductress did come up here behind the wall, able to charge stuff. And if the rocks charge me, I can counter with gargoyles and this berserker unit. Okay, I thought I started out strong. He did shuffle up, turn its units to face me. And so one key problem is there's a Faber here and it's facing this way. Okay, so if I charged and not kill, I'll be taking a Faber in the flank. So I want to make sure I kill. So I think this unit is the Iron Watch and this unit is the Bullwalkers. So Iron Watch are defense 4, so there's a more likelihood to kill. So I wanted to take that kill. But everything else shuffled in, dealing damage. Dwarf Lord on Beast is down here, which is important. I'll talk about it later on. Okay, so let me talk about the right side first. So I charged the Iron Watch and I reformed in such a way that my Bale cannot be charged. So it'll take maximum these 2 units in the front, Faber and the Bullwalkers, and then Bale cannot be charged, and so he has free reign later on. Okay. However, one big problem, I did charge this in, and I'm not sure if I got the Bane Chant off. I charged and did not kill. And this is a sharpness procs, and you have vengeance, you hit me back, it'll be a lot of damage. Right? And so looking at it, I flew the Seductress here to threaten these things, the priest and the 2 organ guns. On hindsight, I think I should have contributed the extra 5 attacks here because I should have known that if I fail to kill it, it will kill me in return. And it took some damage from shooting. See, it took 5 damage from shooting already. So with sharpness, CS1 in return, definitely kill. So I really needed to try to kill that unit at least. So that is one mistake. This is positioned definitely to do a Bane Chan. I'm not sure if it went off. Okay, and then gargoyles chef up the Ironclad Horde. Okay, so what happened here was I charged the Bullwalkers and I double charged this unit here. I think it's what unit is over there? Rocks. Okay, and at the time, as I was planning this turn, I was thinking of what to do on the left side first because this was more important, right? Am I going to go all in? What am I going to charge? What am I going to block up and all that? And I made some measurements on what the Dwarf Lord on Beast could charge. Yep, something like this, right? So I was measuring its 14 inches and its front arc. And I thought some things were out of arc and out of range that he couldn't charge. After that, I went to ponder on what I do on the right side. And I came back here and I didn't remeasure and recheck everything. I just charged, and I think I might have chosen different charge targets. So that would render my initial planning, void, right? So I should have definitely remeasured everything, and also more importantly, also declare intention with the opponent, agree with him that, okay, if I charge this way, this unit will be out, that unit will be in, you can't see this one, that one is out 14 inches, so on and so forth. So I did not do that at all. I just charge. And then after that, we realized, as I was resolving my combats, I realized, actually the Dwarf Lord could see, so I could have made a mistake there. Yeah, especially we realized that after I charged the Brox here with the Horseman, the Dwarf Lord can actually see a little bit, and then I would get sandwiched by the Dwarf Lord and the Horseman. And this regiment, I tried to reform in a way that you screen, like let's say my Horseman is facing here. I try to reform in this way so that the Dwarf King cannot hit the rear, and then this would take the KOW089 Fury in the front. But geometrically, it wasn't possible because when I charged the unit, it was this way, right? Because the regiment is a slimmer base, it's more further forward, so it was impossible. So in the end, I opted to overrun the Horseman to hopefully get out of the KOW089 Fury's line of sight, and definitely out of the Dwarf Lord's line of sight. This is also out of line of sight. And then, but then this Horseman has to waste one turn doing something else because it's facing nothing at the moment. And this is facing this way. And what happened when his Dwarf Lord runs away is also this is facing nothing. It's not threatening anything. So those are two big problems that I have. Also, I dealt damage to this Bullwalkers. I think I shot it up in earlier turns. I charged it. It should be in the route range. But however, I rolled double ones. Okay. So in the end, this was where everything started to go bad, right? But try to salvage the situation. So another thing we realized was, I think this was in charge range. Yeah, but I think he overkilled. He changed his Bullwalkers plus KOW089 Fury plus Dwarf King in the flank. KOW089 was in front to kill this unit. And then this counter charge killed that unit. Now it's facing the is facing towards Bale, of course. Okay, and yep, so KOW089's Fury is facing this way. So what do? Okay, let's see. And this Iron Watch unit kept shooting and eventually took out this unit of what do you call it? The Flame Bearers. Okay, so this is a fresh unit of Abyssal Berserkers, by the way. And then he charged hindered Bullwalkers, although this is the formation Bullwalkers, 15 attacks on 3s becoming 4, so that's a 7.5 hits and about 3 to 4 wounds on average, but he dealt 9 wounds and wavered my unit. I'm not sure if it took some, I think it could have taken some earlier damage, 3 damage from Faber's shooting. Okay, so 3 to 9, it's 6 damage, and then wavered. I was like, oh dear, okay, that's not great. Yeah, so let's see how I react to this. Okay, so the Horseman moved up 8 inches, and I flew Gargoyles 20 to land in front of KOW089 so that KOW089 can't charge it. Okay, and then this unit came to face this way. I'm not sure why exactly this way. I think the King on Beast is facing this way, so I went out of its front arc, and I think I'm facing this way. Okay, these are Flame Bearers. It moved down. Since the Iron Watch is there, I might as well just move down and start doing other things. Yeah, what else? Let's see. This unit countercharged but did not kill. Okay, since the Brock Riders were facing Bale this way, I decided to charge over at the Organ Gun. And I double charged the Organ Gun with Bale and Seductress because I was afraid that Bale alone wouldn't kill. It's 21 attacks on 4s because it's hindered 4s and 3s. So that's about 10, 7 wounds, brutal 8. So there is a chance that I might flub and not kill. And so I will have to So that's why I overcommitted to make sure it dies. Alright, so that my Bale is free to do other things. If not, it'll be stuck one more turn trying to fight. I may not need to, but anyway. Yeah, I may not need to, because even if I'm stuck here, I'm facing this way, which is still a very threatening position, right? Maybe I should have just done something else with the Seductress. I'm not sure what though. Yeah, so the horsemen were in this sweet spot where it's also out of arc. Right? So, ooh, terrible picture. But you can safely assume the gargoyles died. This unit died. Okay, and then it angled its horde more. Okay, so everything angled to face towards the horseman and the Bale trap. Okay, so on my turn, these went into the flank of the Bullwalkers, and the Bullwalkers survived. It's ridiculous because it did take a lot of damage earlier on, right? And then I rolled double once, and then now in the flank, it still survived. One thing I forgot to mention was the Dwarven Priest. So what the priest did was he stood around this part of the map to inspire and give that Radiance of Life to this area of the map, but then he kept casting Celestial Restorations towards this side. So every turn he's casting Celestial Restoration into the Bullwalkers. So charged it in the flank and it didn't die. So that was like, oh my goodness. And then, you know, if it died, I could have moved overran, and then the Golok's Fury would not be able to see me. But since now that it hit here, Golok's in the flank. Okay, Horseman did kill off the Brox, and now I'm facing off against this side. He did have the 2 stockpile tokens here. He did pick it up. I think one here and one here. Eventually, both went to Faber. Because this unit is wounded, it did take 1 round of charges from a Brew of Sharpness Berserker, so that would average 10 wounds. Okay, and then with Radiance and all that, it might be down to about 8. Okay, so yep, so there's a 2 token somewhere here between these 2 units. The 2 side tokens over here has been picked up by Golok and the Dwarf Beast. And then there's 3 tokens picked up by the Ironclad Horde. Okay, so I charge Bale into and Seductress. So the Seductress is over here. Bale and Seductress into the front. I charge Flame Bearers into the rear, but that's 30 attacks on 6s, so not great odds as well. So that's just an average of 5 hits, right? And 5 to wound. So not great. I charged it, it did not die. Okay, that's key point of it. Okay, I think I did try to Bane Chan this unit, or it could be out. Okay, so top of 5, what it did is it countercharged the Flame Bearers and turned back to face this way against my 2 units. I think it tried to put some shots, but didn't do much damage. Okay, and yeah, this part turned around. So Faber went ahead and picked up both tokens while the Bullwalkers were screening Faber. Okay, key thing is now there's the rule that you cannot score more tokens than your unit strength, right? So Faber is unit strength 1. So although he's only carrying 2 tokens, he can only score 1 point from this token. Yeah, this Dwarf King charged at Zazu, but did not kill. So with Nimble, he could move 6 inch and get out of its front arc. Okay, which is what I did. Okay, I charged at these wounded Bullwalkers, but of course, Phalanx did come into play against the Horsemen by still 18 attacks on 4s and 4s. So that's an average of 4 plus wounds, and I still failed to rout it, which is kind of sad. And this is my bottom of 5. Okay, so my opponent did use up more clock time than me, and he was on even shorter time. So on his turn, perhaps he could have charged this into the flank, but I think he did not have time. He only charged to kill the Seductress, and I'm not sure if he managed to roll overrun onto the Bale. And he did not kill this unit of Horsemen. I don't know if he rolled. On average, he wouldn't kill though, because he doesn't even have Bane Chan, right? So it's an average of 5 wounds only. not less than 5 wounds, 10 hits and 3 to 4 wounds. Okay, so yeah, so top of 6, he just killed this Seductress, and he has been Celestial Restoration healing this Horde. This Horde cannot die, right? So bottom of 6, I charged the Bullwalkers again and killed. And this was the point that now that I'm doing this battle report, I realize I could have turned the Horseman around to face this way to eliminate the main threat of this bull. What do you call it? The Ironclad Horde, and I think it's a flank. It's a hindered flank, but it's a flank, and there's a good chance of killing it. But instead, I was so fixated on this Faber holding the 2 tokens that I think I just stood still or I overran forwards. Was getting ready to take down Faber. Okay, so that was the biggest mistake of the game. If I charged and killed this unit, I would take 3 tokens off him, right? And I can score 3 because this is unit strength 3, or I can split it with Bale as well. But he would score 3 as well, and it would have been a draw because Golok is holding 1, Dwarf on Beast is holding 1, and Faber is holding 2, but he can only score 1 of it. It would have been a draw. But alas, I did not see this. I was so fixated on Faber. I don't know why. And even until just before I did this battle report, in my mind, I have thought that this is very, very far apart. But actually looking at it, it's definitely within 16. Right? Yeah. In my mind, I was like, wow, this is on the right side of the battlefield and this is on the middle of the battlefield. I wasn't thinking that I was so close. Even my memory was thinking of it that way. Right? So, top of 7, he only had like 5 seconds remaining. So he couldn't, we rolled a turn 7, right? And he only had 5 seconds remaining. I think I have about 2 minutes. He only had 5 seconds remaining, and all he did, he very quickly wrote Celestial Restoration and healed a few wounds off this unit, because this unit can't die, because if Faber dies and this unit dies, I think he lost. He will have lost. Okay, so so he didn't have time to turn Faber around. So on turn 7, I charged Faber in the flank and took him out. And then Bale charged this unit in front again. And I casted Bane Chant. And after dealing wounds, it would have been, with Brutal, it would have been a 12 twice to take out the unit. So I did not roll 12 times. It was still in possibility, but I did not roll the 12 twice. And so it's a loss for me. I have 2 victory points from killing Faber, and he has 5 from 3 on the Horde and 1-1. So massive victory for my opponent. And the game turned out much closer than I thought it would have been, although my units are down to 3, right? Yeah. Yeah, I guess Dwarves, they're slow, so the key is to maneuver around their slow speed, right? Like how my Horseman went 1 round and all the way to here. And like most of the time, the Ironclad Horde was only killing what I allowed it to kill. So let's look at learning point. Okay, let's look at that. Okay, so my mistake also was I shouldn't. Sometimes I check angles and I think that the opponent is in or the opponent is out, but I don't communicate with my opponent. So sometimes after you check, you should communicate with the opponent. I think this unit is out of this. Do you agree if I charge this way? And let your opponents agree with that as well. Okay, declare the intention after checking. And I should have rechecked, because I think because the Horseman is 125 by 100, while the Berserkers are 120 by 80. Okay, so the Horsemen are a bigger footprint by 5 here and 20 here. I think perhaps I chose the different targets would have changed the LOS, because the Horseman was sticking out extra 20 mils. Yep. So I think that was what happened. I wanted to charge the Horseman this way, and then I charged that way. Okay, so and commit enough if you really need to kill, like the Brock Riders, right? I should have tried to send the extra 5 attacks from the from from the structures as well. Okay, and just focus on how to win or draw the scenario, right? So I also blindsided by, I also focused on getting favor that I didn't realize that, I actually turn around and charge the horde and I could have drew the game. Yep. So lastly is time management. My opponent did run out of time. And luckily in his last bit of time, he did cast a Celestial Restoration, which was the key thing he needed to do. I did run quite low on time as well, so perhaps that has affected my judgment on a critical plays later in the game as well. So that's the end of this battle report. We're coming close to the last game. That will be round 6, probably next week. So if you enjoyed my battle reports, do subscribe, click the like, and all this jazz. Okay, I do have a podcast as well, though it's been a long time since my last episode. If you'd like to support my mission to bring content to help everybody improve in the game, you can support me on Patreon. With that, round 5 of Clash of Kings, another loss. Second loss, and both losses were against Imperial Dwarves. So let's see what my round 6 brings. I'll see you in the next one.